let's just kick it off with Blockchain Week. Walk me through why Dubai, why now, and what the primary focus is for this year's event. Good morning, sir.
Well, thanks for having me. First of all, we're very excited with Binance Blockchain Week that's coming up 30th, 31st. We promise a very exciting arena at the Coca-Cola Arena instead of the traditional red that Coca-Cola Arena is normally in. Be prepared for a surprise in terms of color. The theme for this year is really momentum. We have seen strong momentum growth. We are still at the very early stage, but 2024 has been a landmark year with mainstreaming of crypto, greater credibility, the institutions, the like of BlackRock, Charles Schwab, Fidelity, all jumping on the bandwagon. And the momentum is very strong going forward. We are still at a very early stage. This year alone, Binance has onboarded 54 million new clients for year to date. So that's a big achievement. So it's an open invitation for everybody to come join us at Binance Blockchain Week, which is going to be very exciting. This year's edition is going to be much larger than last year. We held BBW in Istanbul last year, where we saw more than 2,500 attendees. This year, until now, we have seen very strong and robust interest. So we expect north of 3,500 at least. And you come here to have the best network in terms of top executives around the world, financials, crypto traders, founders, institutional investors, regulators, global policymakers, and innovators. So we are very excited with that. Why we chose Dubai? I think Dubai offers a very vibrant ecosystem. We got involved with Dubai in late 2021 when they approached us to try to develop a very smart regulatory framework to support the future of crypto. We're glad to be here. We're fully licensed in Dubai, and we look forward to welcoming everybody to this very important and very interesting edition of Binance Blockchain Week in October.
Right, Richard, really interesting moment for the crypto space as well. As you say, we're seeing increased institutional adoption, more mainstreaming as well. The price currently sitting around 62,000 USD. Where do you think we're at right now in the current cycle? And where do you think things are going? What activity are you seeing on the exchange that might give us an insight into how investors, how traders are currently thinking about where Bitcoin stands?
Absolutely. So if you think about it, there's going to be volatility in the crypto space. For those of us that have been involved in it for some time now, this is par for the course. We are very used to it. But despite all the volatility, if you look at crypto as an asset class, Bitcoin itself has returned more than 40% for year to date, making it one of the best performing asset class around the world on that front. I mentioned 2024 has been a landmark year in terms of institutional adoption. For the longest time, this sector was embraced by retail, but the corporates, high net worth individual, family offices, institutions were not in this space. I think in 2024, when the largest money manager in the world, Larry Fink, came out to say that he has changed from a skeptic to a firm believer of crypto, we are seeing a new dawn in this space, right? Coupled with more regulators coming on stream to try to regulate this space, giving certainty to mainstream users, we are certainly seeing, I'm certainly very bullish for the path ahead. And I think our numbers this year alone, today we serve more than 234 million users globally. And this year alone, we have onboarded about 54 million users. The pace of adoption is very strong. The first 100 million users took us 5 years to onboard. The next 100 million users took us 2 years to onboard. And this year alone, we saw 54 million users. So the pace of adoption in the next 5 years is going to be much faster. I personally remain bullish. Normally, Bitcoin and other prices start to move half a year after the Bitcoin halving. And we are right into that half year after Bitcoin halving for 2024. So I remain bullish for the path ahead.
Right. Okay. Richard, can I also ask you, of course, I know it's not lost on you that CZ is now out of jail. You might recall that I was one of the last journalists to interview him before his arrests and sentencing during a session here in Abu Dhabi. I want to understand, how is he doing now? And how has his conviction changed Binance?
Well, first of all, we're all delighted that CZ is home. He's back with his loved one and family. I think that's the most important thing. Binance and CZ, we paid a very heavy penalty for some of the past mistakes. If I bring you back to 2017, I mentioned 2024 is a landmark year with institutional adoption and with regulators regulating this space. But when Binance was first started in 2017, there are almost no regulators that's regulating this space, right? So the rules were unclear then. We make mistakes, but we have pivoted very strongly since a few years ago. Since 2021, we have invested very heavily into the compliance space to pivot the company because we firmly believe that direction of travel is very clear. More and more regulators are coming on stream. Our interests are aligned with policymakers and regulators around the world, providing safeguards to our users, aligning on security measures, making sure that there's a framework that everybody can look forward to protect their interests when they trade in crypto on that front. So we've invested very, very heavily in the compliance space. Our compliance spend last year alone was more than $230 million US. And this year, that spend will go up even further. We continue to add to our compliance headcount and resources, enhancing our processes, investing in AI in the different aspects to make our process even better and more robust. So again, Binance today is a very different entity. It's no longer a founder, CEO-led entity. It's a board-led structure. We have a board of directors of 7 members, representing the best of Web 2, Web 3 world, and leading the company forward in terms of strategy and global deployment. And this year alone, we have secured a few more regulatory approval, including the likes of India, Kazakhstan, Indonesia, earlier on in Thailand. So we've gotten 20 regulatory approval globally on that front, making us the most regulated exchange in the crypto space.